Continuing from the last part, seeing the dragon soul willingly coiled around the ancient ruler of heavenly flames, Xiao Yan knew well that from this moment on, this dragon soul would willingly follow him. After all, someone chosen by the Golden Dragon King could hardly be a mere mortal. The Golden Dragon King saw this and merely shook his head, not saying much. Some matters were too early to reveal now, so he simply looked towards the coffin nearby. Xiao Yan deeply bowed to his master, the Golden Dragon King. Without his master's influence, convincing the dragon soul to follow him willingly would have been exceedingly difficult. After collecting his thoughts, Xiao Yan picked up the ancient ruler of heavenly flames and leaned into the coffin, carefully investigating it. Why is there nothing inside? Could someone have gotten here first? Xiao Yan carefully examined the open coffin lid, finding it empty. Impossible, the dragon soul, named Long Yi, replied from atop the ancient ruler of heavenly flames. Those three who subdued me wanted to open this coffin and take whatever was inside. Besides, I can sense that no living being has entered this place for years. Whatever was in this coffin must still be here. From Long Yi's attitude toward his master, Xiao Yan also understood that his master, the Golden Dragon King, was once the leader of the Dragon Clan. However, it was clear they were hiding something from him. Could it be because of this immortal sword? Xiao Yan pondered upon hearing Long Yi's words. He could sense that Long Yi wasn't lying. Speaking of which, Xiao Yan retrieved the slightly damaged immortal sword from his ring. As soon as the immortal sword was taken out, it gleamed with a pure white brilliance under the milky white flames surrounding Xiao Yan. He then raised the sword, aiming it toward the coffin. The immortal sword, radiating milky white flames, swept across the stone coffin's interior, but still, nothing was found. How could this be? Xiao Yan murmured, perplexed. After all, when he first entered this cave, he sensed some extremely faint auras. As he ventured deeper, he became certain these auras were emanating from the coffin. Yet, now that it was opened, there was no reaction. Long Yi was also stunned, clearly at a loss. Try channeling the techniques within your body and use the power of the heavenly flames to burn the inside of the coffin, the Golden Dragon King suggested, furrowing his brow as he gazed into the coffin. There seems to be a familiar scent within this seemingly empty coffin. What could it be? He muttered under his breath. Upon hearing this, Xiao Yan closed his eyes to meditate. Under his control, the flame mantra began to circulate rapidly within him. Immediately, a vast and powerful force of flame erupted in the chamber, illuminating the entire space. After completing this, Xiao Yan directed the immense flame energy toward the coffin. What secrets does this human boy hold that he could catch the eye of our clan's usually haughty chief? Long Yi, from atop the ancient ruler of heavenly flames, stared intently at Xiao Yan. Xiao Yan, oblivious to these hidden matters, continued to control the terrifying flames, directing them towards the coffin. As soon as the immense flame energy touched the stone coffin, with Xiao Yan's Imperial Realm mortal-grade soul power, he instantly sensed a joyful feeling emanating from the coffin. Without time to ponder, he continued to burn the inside of the coffin with his flames. Boom, boom, boom. The terrifying flame energy filled the coffin. Normally, with Xiao Yan's flames, infused with the power of 22 types of heavenly flames, such a high temperature would cause the coffin to explode in no time. However, nothing occurred as Xiao Yan had expected. Indeed, something is odd. Increase the power. At this moment, the Golden Dragon King's pupils narrowed as he intensely focused on the coffin's interior, where something seemed to be emerging from the scorching space. Upon hearing this, Xiao Yan accelerated the circulation of the flame mantra, and an even more formidable force surged into the coffin. Boom, boom, boom. The entire chamber was now filled with a terrifying heat. However, as Xiao Yan continued to release his flames, the coffin, which was only an arm's length away, began to change. The originally stone-like coffin slowly transformed into a jade-white color. Bang, bang, bang. With 3 loud bangs, the entire coffin turned completely translucent, a pure jade-white color. Inside the jade coffin, a blue light sphere lay flat, gradually absorbing Xiao Yan's flame energy. This is a soul seed. The Golden Dragon King's voice echoed throughout the chamber. This thing. Hearing this, Xiao Yan noticed the changes before him, his eyes fixed on the blue light sphere. Xiao Yan's immense soul power surged towards the blue light sphere, intending to probe it. Yet, the moment it made contact, his soul power was instantly extinguished. Xiao Yan even sensed a fearful aura emanating from the blue light sphere. For something to instill fear in him, even after merging with 22 types of heavenly flames, there could only be one explanation: a sacred flame. Soul seeds, it is said, coexist with sacred flames and only separate when the sacred flame itself faces a crisis, the Golden Dragon King explained. The power of a sacred flame is twofold. One part is the massive source of flame power, and the other is the soul seed. The soul seed inherits the benevolent nature of the sacred flame. If a soul seed appears, it can only mean one thing: the sacred flame might be under control or on the verge of perishing. A sacred flame is a being born from the essence of heaven and earth. Each sacred flame is as pure as a newborn child. The soul seed and sacred flame are two in one, and only when the sacred flame encounters a calamity will the soul seed detach. This fluctuation, it should be the soul seed of Yin Qi. The Golden Dragon King's pupils tightened as he looked at the light sphere within the jade-white coffin and spoke with fury. Upon hearing this, Xiao Yan realized that the sacred flame and the soul seed are one entity. When the sacred flame encounters misfortune, the soul seed detaches to preserve the flame's power. If the current sacred flame perishes, a new one could be born again. Moreover, it also serves to save the sacred flame. The soul seed not only carries some of the sacred flame's core power, but also holds the ability to restore the sacred flame's consciousness. If its mind were to be controlled by external demons or evil spirits, the soul seed would be the last straw of salvation for the sacred flame. Yin Qi, don't let anything happen to you. Our agreement hasn't been fulfilled yet. The Golden Dragon King muttered softly. Take it. Guard this well. It will determine your success in absorbing the sacred flame in the future, the Golden Dragon King advised. Hearing this, Xiao Yan sensed his master, the Golden Dragon King's, unstable emotions. He remained silent and simply extended his hand toward the blue light sphere inside the jade-white coffin. This thing, it's absorbing my soul power. Not good. Before Xiao Yan could finish speaking, the blue, soul seed, sphere transformed into a streak of light and shot into his body. As the blue, soul seed, sphere entered Xiao Yan's body, he immediately felt it restlessly moving around within him. Just as Xiao Yan was about to use his soul power to restrain the blue sphere, the moment his immense soul power touched the soul seed, sphere, it suddenly calmed down and swiftly headed towards Xiao Yan's Sea of Soul. In an instant, it coiled itself within Xiao Yan's Sea of Soul. As the blue, soul seed, sphere settled into Xiao Yan's Sea of Soul, he could feel an intense, terrifyingly scorching fluctuation emanating from it. A sacred flame, Xiao Yan muttered to himself. Ever since arriving on the Dodi continent, Xiao Yan had come to realize that his family harbored certain secrets on this land. To uncover these mysteries, he had to become stronger himself. Xiao Yan's cultivation technique, the flame mantra, was special. It allowed him to devour sacred flames to gain immense power, making it the best shortcut to becoming a mighty force. However, the rarity of sacred flames had always left Xiao Yan helpless. But now, having discovered the trace of a sacred flame and obtained a soul seed, it was no wonder he felt so excited. After briefly calming his emotions, Xiao Yan noticed that the blue, soul seed, sphere residing in his Sea of Soul was actually absorbing his soul power. This worried him greatly, as his soul power was painstakingly cultivated step by step and was crucial to his strength as an alchemist. Therefore, he grew more cautious. Sensing Xiao Yan's displeasure, the blue, soul seed, sphere seemed to cease its absorption and quietly lay dormant within his Sea of Soul. After feeling this change, Xiao Yan let out a bitter smile. Apparently, his concerns were unnecessary. Boom, boom, boom. In the next moment, Xiao Yan suddenly noticed the jade-white coffin in front of him collapse, crumbling into a pile of debris. At the same time, the tightly sealed chamber door opened. I wonder how much time has passed. We must have spent quite a bit of time in this chamber, Xiao Yan remarked after steadying his breath and calming down. It has only been a day. The flow of time in this secret realm is incredibly slow. A day inside is just an hour outside, Long Yi responded. We should go out and check. I wonder how Yuru and Mu Feng are doing. And I almost forgot about the selection competition, Xiao Yan added as he put away the immortal sword in his hand. Despite its damaged state, the immortal sword was still a rare treasure, and Xiao Yan was aware of the saying, an innocent man gets into trouble because of his wealth. He then slung the ancient ruler of heavenly flames over his back. Perhaps even Xiao Yan hadn't noticed that ever since the ruler gained a ruler spirit, its aura had become significantly stronger. Xiao Yan slowly walked out of the chamber, heading back to the entrance where he had originally come in. Meanwhile, Yuru and Mu Feng, after waking up from their unconscious state, began searching for Xiao Yan deeper within the passageways. However, the maze-like structure of the cave made it difficult, and even with Mu Feng's tracking abilities, they made several wrong turns. Damn it! Why are there so many paths in this cave? Xiao Yan's presence is clearly inside, but why do we keep taking the wrong route? Mu Feng complained. Forget it. Let's head back. Maybe Xiao Yan has already returned, Yuru suggested, turning back the way they came. Mu Feng, about to say something, reluctantly followed Yuru. Even though I don't know what your relationship is, it's obvious to anyone with eyes that you have feelings for him, Mu Feng said. But I must say, from what I've sensed, Xiao Yan is a very strong person. Indeed, very strong. Mu Feng replied softly to Yuru, who was walking ahead of him. Yuru, surprised by this statement, had thought Mu Feng was merely a demon slayer, unaware he could understand matters of the heart. I know, but if I give up now, I think I'll regret it for the rest of my life. So, to avoid future regrets, I should act now. Who knows what the future holds? Yuru replied, her lips slightly parted as she spoke while walking. Well said, no regrets. Mu Feng smiled slightly, clearly moved by Yuru's words. Not long after, they spotted a figure with a heavy ruler on his back appearing in front of them. Xiao Yan? Yuru exclaimed in surprise. Where have you two been? Xiao Yan responded. Hey, shouldn't we be asking you that? When we woke up, you were gone. We even went deeper into the cave to look for you. But the paths are so convoluted that we couldn't find our way, Mu Feng said, clearly frustrated. Heh, when we first arrived here, you were both under the influence of a specter's illusion, so your minds were confused. Unfortunately, I don't know how to break illusions, so I had to go deeper into the cave to kill it, which broke the spell, Xiao Yan explained, laughing. Clearly, his words were true, though he left out most of the details. I also found it strange that I fell under an illusion. This cave is indeed eerie. Let's leave quickly, Mu Feng suggested. Hearing this, the three of them prepared to leave, but unexpectedly, the token in Yuru's hand fell to the ground. The numbers on this? Yuru noticed that the numbers on the token, given to them for the selection competition, had suddenly changed. The number had jumped from its initial value to 300. Upon hearing this, Mu Feng and Xiao Yan also took out their own tokens, only to be surprised to find that the numbers on theirs had also changed. Mu Feng's token now displayed 310, and Xiao Yan's token showed a staggering 400. What's going on here? Mu Feng was puzzled. They hadn't done anything significant so far, yet the points on their tokens had dramatically increased. I think these points were added because I killed that shadow figure we encountered earlier, Xiao Yan explained. According to the rules of the selection competition, we can earn points by either killing the specters in the forest of corpses or collecting medicinal herbs. Although Yuru and Mu Feng didn't know why the points had increased so much, given that they had suddenly gained over 100 points, it seemed the shadow figure must have been quite formidable. Both of them simultaneously looked at Xiao Yan. Why are you looking at me like that? Xiao Yan felt uncomfortable under their gaze and asked. Xiao Yan, you're truly impressive. Mu Feng laughed, evidently finding the selection competition more intriguing. What's this? Yuru noticed an unusual button on her token and gently pressed it. As Yuru pressed the button, a faint light emitted from the token, and a vast amount of information appeared before the three of them. Top 100 in the points plunder competition. A light projection from Yuru's token formed a text that appeared in front of them. This is... Xiao Yan's pupils contracted as he stared at the text, murmuring softly. Before the selection competition began, the person in charge had mentioned that this competition gathered hundreds of thousands of newcomers from all the bases, but only 100 would be able to join the 9 great super sects. This underscored the strictness of the recruitment process, and without exception, those who managed to join these super sects would achieve limitless success in the future. Who would have thought these tokens could be used like this? Mu Feng grinned, clearly surprised by this functionality. After speaking, the three of them turned their attention to the text displayed in the light beam. Points plunder competition, 100th place. Chiron, gender, male, mid 4-star Do D, points, 1,000. At the bottom of the text displayed in the light beam, a line of small print caught their attention. The person ranked 100th is at the mid-level of 4-star Do D? Xiao Yan muttered thoughtfully. Although Xiao Yan was currently at the peak of 3-star Do D, with his Lotus of Desolation, the array techniques of a battle array master, and the ancient ruler of heavenly flames with its ruler spirit, he wasn't afraid of going up against a mid-level 4-star Do D. Considering the newcomers with 5th-tier talent from our Red Mountain base, those who make it into the top 100 of this selection competition are the cream of the crop. It seems we need to be careful. Facing someone at the mid-level of 4-star Do D is no small feat, Mu Feng said thoughtfully. After all, he was only at the early stage of 4-star Do D himself, and would need to be cautious when dealing with these mid-level 4-star Do D competitors. However, for some reason, since coming out of the Wolf Fang cave, Mu Feng could no longer see through Xiao Yan's cultivation level. This was unusual. In the past, with his mysterious Yin-Yang 8 trigrams technique, Mu Feng could discern Xiao Yan's peak 3-star Do D level. But now, it seemed as though Xiao Yan had an invisible barrier preventing his probing, and Mu Feng could only vaguely sense that Xiao Yan was still at the peak of 3-star Do D, but nothing more specific. But the points are quite high. Mu Feng muttered softly. Xiao Yan, unaware of Mu Feng's thoughts, looked at the token in his hand and chuckled wryly. Then his eyes lit up. Points? Huh? I have an idea. What idea? Mu Feng asked curiously, though a sense of unease crept into his mind. Plunder. Xiao Yan said calmly, uttering a single word. Just as I thought. Mu Feng seemed to have anticipated this all along. So, what do you think? Are you willing to give it a try? Xiao Yan smiled, his lips curling slightly. Why not? Mu Feng replied confidently. Yuru, standing nearby, also pondered for a moment before agreeing to Xiao Yan's proposal. Although they were not yet sure how important these points were, it seemed that a substantial amount would be needed to make it into the top 100. Moreover, compared to hunting specters or collecting medicinal herbs, plundering points from others was undoubtedly the fastest method. However, this approach also had its risks. It all depended on strength. If they lacked the power, they could end up handing over their hard-earned points to others. Conversely, if they were strong enough, it was indeed the quickest way to accumulate points. Then it's settled, Xiao Yan said, looking into the distance with a murmur. After all, this was a selection competition for joining a supersect within the mystic 3 heavens, not a place for the faint-hearted. The participants included some truly formidable fighters who wouldn't show mercy just because someone was a woman or seemed weak. This competition was a brutal one. Survival of the fittest. Throughout history, it has always been a case of the victor becoming the king and the loser falling into disgrace. Thus, in this selection competition, there could be no room for sympathy. Otherwise, failure would only be a matter of time. Having made their decision, Xiao Yan and the others prepared to stride out, looking to find contestants from whom they could seize points. By the way, who was in first place? Xiao Yan suddenly remembered and asked. Hearing this, Yuru smiled gently and fiddled with the token in her hand. Instantly, a line of golden text appeared in front of them. Points plunder competition, first place. Mu Ying, gender, female, points, 31,000, strength, Peak 4-star Do D. This? Yuru's delicate brows furrowed slightly, clearly shocked by the information. The first-place contestant is at the peak of 4-star Do D. Mu Feng murmured to himself. As an early 4-star Do D himself, Mu Feng understood deeply the substantial differences within each level of a 4-star Do D. Don't be fooled by the seemingly small gap between an early 4-star Do D and a mid 4-star Do D. In a real battle, the difference in strength would be immediately apparent. To secure a victory, an early 4-star Do D would need either a powerful cultivation technique or superior battle skills. Otherwise, in a standard fight, an early 4-star Do D would stand no chance against a mid 4-star Do D. Peak 4-star Do D. Xiao Yan stared at the golden text before him, his expression growing serious. Clearly, the name Mu Ying had caused Xiao Yan to feel a sense of gravity. What a formidable opponent. It looks like I'll need to break through to 4-star Do D as soon as possible. Otherwise, if I encounter this person, my chances of winning are slim, Xiao Yan said with a wry smile, shaking his head. The strength of a peak 4-star Do D was nothing to scoff at, and it posed a considerable challenge for Xiao Yan at his current level. However, he showed no signs of backing down or feeling intimidated. For the path to becoming a true warrior is one that must be walked step by step. The first place is actually a woman, Yuru exclaimed, unable to hide her surprise. What? Mu Feng said in astonishment. Just as Yuru's words fell, Xiao Yan and Mu Feng simultaneously focused their eyes on the golden text in front of them, where the words gender, female, were prominently displayed. Evidently, Xiao Yan and Mu Feng had been so shocked by the mention of a peak 4-star Do D in first place that they hadn't noticed the gender. Now, seeing it, they realized that the top contestant in the selection competition was a woman, and not just any woman, but one with the strength of a peak 4-star Do D. This was something unheard of. In previous selection competitions, the number of female participants in the top 100 rarely exceeded 10%, and among the top 10, there were almost no women. Yet this time, a woman had taken the first place, an unprecedented occurrence in history. Outside the forest of corpses, Wu Jiang and Hu Du were sitting leisurely in a pavilion. Inside the pavilion, clusters of light were projecting scenes from within the forest. This Mu Ying is truly formidable. Her fire attribute Doqi is incredibly powerful. If it were me, it would take quite a bit of effort to deal with her, Hu Du remarked with a smile. Heh, this selection competition seems to be getting more interesting, Wu Jiang said. Just as he finished speaking, the space inside the pavilion suddenly twisted in a strange manner, followed by a wave of intense heat. An enemy? Hu Du shouted, instantly alert. Calm down, it's one of our own. Xiao Jiang, what's going on? I rushed over as soon as I received your secret message. A middle-aged man in a red robe entered, smiling kindly. Senior brother, to be honest, something serious might be happening this time, Wu Jiang said with a serious expression. What happened? The red-robed man asked. This time, nearly 100 people from the Red Mountain base that I'm responsible for have gone missing. And according to my investigation, 96 of them have already been thrown into a blood pool and turned into blood water. Of the remaining 4, 2 are sons of the Jiang family. One is unconscious, and one is still missing. The other 2 are the first and third place among the newcomers with 5th-tier talents, Wu Jiang explained briefly. So, there are still 4 unaccounted for, the red-robed man muttered to himself. What's on your mind, senior brother? Wu Jiang asked, noticing his senior brother's deep thought. Changyu, Wu Jiang's senior brother, was also a teacher at the Incense Pavilion's outer sect. He had a close, life-and-death relationship with Wu Jiang and was much stronger than him. It's nothing. Actually, this isn't your fault. After all, the twin ghost emperors are exceptionally cunning, and Red Mountain is the closest mountain range to their seal. These events were somewhat inevitable, but rest assured, 1,000 years ago, when they were sealed, we anticipated this outcome, so they were sealed separately. As long as the twin ghost emperors haven't merged, your strength should be sufficient to handle them. As for those who died, we'll have to issue a compensation order, Changyu sighed. Alas, there's no other choice, Wu Jiang said, feeling ashamed. After all, these people went missing under his watch, leaving him with a sense of unease. The compensation order was a token used by all sects within the mystic three heavens. Issuing this token meant that the deceased had been harmed by specters from the ghost realm, and the sects within mystic three heavens would provide some compensation. However, issuing the compensation order also meant acknowledging the person's death. It's not your fault. The sealing power has been gradually weakening. It's clear that the twin ghost emperors have been plotting for a long time. Otherwise, they wouldn't have broken through the seal so easily. Moreover, after consuming the blood energy of 96 newcomers, without reaching 100, coupled with the fact that this ghost emperor forcefully broke through the seal, its strength must have suffered significantly. Changyu said, "Do you mean we have a mole here?" Wu Zhang's eyebrows furrowed as he spoke softly. "Sure, I came here quietly, so don't let anyone else know about this. I'll help you in secret," Changyu whispered, putting his finger to his lips. "Understood," Wu Jiang and Hu Du replied in unison. "I'll go inside first. Keep an eye on the seal at the third level of the Forest of EngSubs. If you can't stop the Ghost Emperor from breaking the seal, do what you can. I have a feeling things aren't as simple as they seem," Changyu said before disappearing into thin air, heading toward the Forest of EngSubs. "Senior brother Chang still comes and goes like a ghost?" Hu Du chuckled. "Yes, let's stay vigilant." "The Forest of EngSubs is indeed quite eerie," Wu Jiang added. "Oh, by the way, most of the people from Red Mountain and Red Valley have gone to pay their respects to their ancestors," Hu Du mentioned, as if recalling something. "Got it," Wu Jiang replied casually, his eyes fixed on the many glowing spheres before him. As the overall supervisor, he had to ensure the fairness of the selection competition. "Tisk, TSK, TSK. The first place is actually a woman at the peak of 4-star Do D. That's terrifying," Mu Feng exclaimed, clicking his tongue. "All right, regardless, we'll deal with it when the time comes. Let's move on. We're probably still in the outer perimeter of the first level," Xiao Yan said with a smile. Clearly, the peak 4-star Do D woman in first place was putting pressure on him, so he felt the need to act. On one hand, he was preparing to break through to the 4-star Do D level, and on the other, he aimed to increase his points. "Yes, let's go," Yu Ru chimed in, her voice as clear as a silver bell. The three of them cautiously headed toward the first level. On the second level of the Forest of EngSubs, atop a mountain peak, a massive tiger lay sprawled on the ground, and on its forehead was a tiny human figure. Upon closer inspection, the figure on the tiger's forehead was indeed that of a human woman. It is well known that, apart from the Dragon Clan and a few other powerful bloodlines, tigers are among the few magical beasts that can be considered rulers. Every tiger has a prominent king character on its forehead, symbolizing its status as the king of all beasts. So, lying on a tiger's forehead is no small feat. If Xiao Yan were here, he would instantly recognize this so-called tiger as none other than the fearsome Heavenly Fire Sacred Tiger. Furthermore, looking at the king character on the Heavenly Fire Sacred Tiger's forehead, it clearly had 5 lines. This signifies that this Heavenly Fire Sacred Tiger possesses strength comparable to a human 5-star Do D. And yet, this woman was casually lying on the Heavenly Fire Sacred Tiger's forehead without fear of being devoured? It was common knowledge that the Heavenly Fire Sacred Tiger was notorious for its ferocity. The Heavenly Fire Sacred Tiger is a magical beast with a unique affinity for fire, known for devouring various flames to sustain itself, making it particularly fond of fire. However, one must not underestimate the Heavenly Fire Sacred Tiger. Its power, having absorbed different types of flames, is incredibly formidable. Big Tiger, have you woken up yet? Why are you so lazy?" the woman on its forehead complained. Upon hearing the woman's words, the Heavenly Fire Sacred Tiger beside her let out a few low growls, seemingly in protest, signaling that it felt uncomfortable with a woman lying on the forehead of the King of Beasts. "Resistance is futile," the woman responded, her voice sounding like a silver bell. Hearing this, the Heavenly Fire Sacred Tiger let out a few helpless growls, then allowed the woman to continue lying on its forehead. The woman on the Heavenly Fire Sacred Tiger's forehead had beautifully adorned hair, with two pitch-black pigtails falling neatly on either side of her head from silver hair ornaments. Her tidy bangs framed her face, which was as delicate as an egg, making her look even more beautiful. The pigtails swayed gently in the breeze, giving her a lively appearance. The woman wore a sky-blue dress that accentuated her entire figure. Her nearly perfect body radiated a blue flame that enveloped her completely, making her appear as a noble princess amidst the flames. This pleased the heavenly fire sacred tiger greatly because the blue flame emanating from the woman was continuously flowing into its body, carrying immense energy that only the heavenly fire sacred tiger could fully comprehend. Therefore, it didn't stop the woman from lying on its forehead. "Is Mu Ying here? Why don't I see her?" A man in silver spoke, holding a token in his hand with a score of 21,000 points. "She should be here. Her aura is unmistakably in this area," said a figure in a white robe standing behind him. "Could she be over there?" The white-robed figure pointed to another mountain peak. Following the direction indicated, the silver-robed man noticed a slightly elevated mountain peak where a woman of unparalleled beauty stood. Strangely, there seemed to be an inconspicuous king character beneath her delicate feet. "Finally found you. It seems that first place is mine for sure," the silver-robed figure shouted as he flew rapidly toward the mountain peak,